Hey, it's been a while. How have you been?
Hey, I'm good. Just busy with work and life. What about you?
I've been good too. Actually, I've been working on improving my English communication skills lately. You know how important it is in the workplace these days. It makes such a difference.
That's awesome. I've always been a challenge for me, especially when speaking in front of people. Any tips you can share?
Of course, I've learned is that practice is key. You can't get better at speaking English if you don't actually speak it. I try to engage in conversations whenever possible, even if it's just small talk with strangers or colleagues. The more you speak, the more confident you become.
Yes, that makes sense. But I always get nervous and end up mixing up words or forgetting what I want to say.
That happens to everyone at first. The trick is to not be too hard on yourself. One thing I do is prepare for conversations in advance. If I know I'm going to have a meeting, or even just talk to someone, I think about the words or phrases I might use. It helps to have some key points in mind.
That sounds like a good idea. Do you also work on your grammar? I feel like I know a lot of words, but I mess up on grammar when I try to form sentences.
Grammar is important, but don't let it stop you from speaking. Fluency is more about how smoothly you communicate. It's okay to make small grammar mistakes, as long as you're understood. But if you do want to improve, reading helps a lot. When you read, you see how sentences are structured, and that naturally improves your grammar over time.
Reading. I haven't done much of that lately. What kind of things should I read?
Start with something simple, like articles or blogs on topics that interest you. If you like sports, read sports news in English. If you're into technology, read tech blogs. This way, you won't get bored, and you'll be learning without feeling like it's a chore.
That's a good point. I guess I should find something fun to read. But what about speaking more naturally? I feel like my sentences are a bit stiff when I speak English.
Yeah, that's another thing many people struggle with. To sound more natural, try to listen to how native speakers talk. Watch English TV shows or movies with subtitles. It helps you understand how they use informal language, contractions, and even slangs. You can mimic their tone and expressions too.
I love watching shows. Maybe I can try watching some, without my usual language subtitles, and switch to English ones instead.
Exactly. That's a great way to improve. And once you get used to that, try watching without any subtitles at all. It's tough at first, but it really trains your ear to pick up on words and phrases faster.
That sounds challenging but fun. I've also heard that writing helps. Do you do any writing practice?
Yes, writing is a great way to organize your thoughts and improve your vocabulary. I try to journal in English every day, even if it's just a few sentences about how my day went. It helps me reflect on what words I don't know, and I can look them up later.
That's a good idea. I never thought of journaling in English. It could help me think in English too, instead of always translating from my native language.
Exactly. That's one of the main goals. When you start thinking in English, you'll become more fluent, because you won't have to translate everything in your head before you speak. It makes the process much quicker.
I see what you mean. Do you ever talk to yourself in English? I've heard people say that helps too.
Definitely. It might feel weird at first, but it's actually very effective. I sometimes narrate what I'm doing in English, or I'll pretend I'm explaining something to someone. It helps me practice forming sentences on the spot, without the pressure of a real conversation.
That's interesting. I could try that when I'm alone. It would probably help me feel less awkward in real conversations.
Exactly. You'll get used to the sound of your own voice speaking English, which helps with confidence too. Also, if you can, try joining an English-speaking group or a language exchange. That's another great way to get real-life practice in a low-pressure environment.
That sounds like a good idea. I've seen a few groups online, but I've always been too shy to join. Maybe I should give it a try.
Definitely. Go for it. The more you put yourself in a situation where you need to speak English, the better you'll get. And remember, everyone else is there to learn too, so no one's expecting perfection.
Yeah, I guess it's about stepping out of my comfort zone. I just need to make that leap.
Exactly. And don't worry about making mistakes. The more you practice, the more you'll improve, and soon you'll be speaking fluently without even thinking about it.
Thanks so much for all the tips. I feel a lot more confident about starting now.
No problem. Just keep at it, and you'll see progress before you know it. We can even practice together if you want.
That would be great. Let's meet up regularly to chat in English, and help each other out.
Sounds like a plan. We've got this.